What up, what up, what up? We are here for another episode of Pete's Corner with Dre. And by the way, we do not own the rights to that song, just so we don't get cut off by YouTube, but fuck YouTube anyway. But, but I'm here, your host, Pete the Sports God. Out there in the cyber world is D Money Drizzy Dre.
Yeah, what's going on, people? And fuck you, YouTube.
Exactly. So, yeah, you're not cutting off another one of our songs. That's why you got to go and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Spreaker. We're on Spotify. We're on everything that you could think of. You got to go and join us on that, just in case YouTube wants to keep screwing us. We still got that. So make sure you sign up on subscribe on all those channels. But let's start off quickly with two games that shifted around a little bit. Tennessee game, obviously, where they're having a lot of trouble with COVID. They've had, between coaches and players, there's been about 21 individuals that have caught it in the past couple of weeks or a week and a half. So right now, and I'm even surprised that they're even scheduling it still for this week, they are pushing the Buffalo and Tennessee game to Tuesday. And then Buffalo was scheduled to play a game on Thursday. That's being pushed back 2 days also to Saturday. So it's going to be a little bit of a crazy week. There's currently no line that is out for the Buffalo-Tennessee game. I did see on OddsSharks it was -8.5, but I'm not really confident if that's actually true or not. So me and Dre are going to do a little bit different for these two games, because also the Denver and New England game is also on hold. So we're going to actually tell you what we predict as the final score if the game plays. So that'll give it our personal line of what we think it'll be. If we say it's a 2-point game and obviously a team wins by 5, you know whether to pick over or under whatever team. So, and it should help you with the over-under picks also. So, Dre, let's start off with the Buffalo-Tennessee game. What do you think, how the game's going to go, and what do you have as the score?
So before I give you my actual score and pick, I'm going to ask you, because Tennessee is your team. So honestly, I have so there's two main factors for me to actually that I need to know right now, that's going to determine who I think is going to win. Now, Is there anybody that's going to be on the COVID list that is not going to participate in that game that you think is going to be a factor for the offense or defense?
Definitely. I think that Daquan Jones on the defensive line, he's a starting DN. He's a good run stuffer. Jeffrey Simmons is one of their best defensive players. He's a second-year player, and he's wreaks havoc on that defensive line. So their defensive line is going to be really completely torn up, because those are the two best players on the D-line. And on the offense, they're losing their number 3 wide receiver in Adam Humphries and their number 2 wide receiver in Corey Davis. So they're losing significant parts on both sides of the ball.
And what about A.J. Brown? Is he off the injury report?
He is not off the injury report, but everything for the weeks that they've had off, or 10 days extra that they've had off, he should be completely good to go. Even with how he's been talking on Twitter and everything like that, I would put a good amount that he's going to be playing that game.
Okay, and my second question, and I'm not trying to be funny, but besides them practicing outside of the facility, so when's the next summer that they're going to be able to go into the facility and train? Because to me, that tells me that if they're not going to be able to train, they are
able to train once they have 2 straight days with a negative test. So, assuming that tomorrow on Friday and Saturday, then they will have 1 day of practice on Sunday, and then fly on Monday and play on Tuesday. So they'll have 1 day of practice.
And technically, this would be their first game of practice since the Pittsburgh week, where they found the first positive,
which was since they had that little get together on September 30th. So that which they think actually caused to spread it a little bit more, but that was the last time that they actually got a chance to have some sort of an organized practice, was the 30th.
Got you. I mean, so to me, that's information that I needed, and I think that's probably valuable information that a lot of you listeners, that if you guys aren't Tennessee fans and you guys don't know what's going on, Peter Clark just filled you in. I think that's important information. Originally, a healthy squad, no rescheduling issues. No doubt about it, I would have leaned Tennessee. I think Tennessee is the more fluent, the better team. I think that they're just more well-rounded ground game defense. Even though their defense hasn't been playing well, I just think it's more of a matter of lack of preseason and more of them gelling together. But I've always been appreciative of their defense. But if this is a sloppy game, I don't recommend touching it. If I did have to make a prediction, I'm going to say for the lack of defensive line and offense and practice, I'm going to lean towards Buffalo only because they've been more fluent lately. But again, this is a game that I personally would suggest touching because, again, there's a lot of moving pieces happening right now that, it's up in the air at the moment. So I don't recommend it. I would lean Buffalo. If I had to predict the score, I would say 24-17.
All right. So I'm actually kind of similar in the same prediction for mine. I think that Buffalo will win the game. I think that Tennessee's just missing too many pieces. I think they will compete, and it will be harder than most people think. But I think when it comes down to it, and they don't have the players that can rotate like they normally can rotate. They don't have the depth that they usually have to keep people fresh. It's pretty much on offense. It's going to be A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill. That's it. You really have nobody else. And on defense, you even lost one of your top three corners in Christian Fulton, the rookie out of LSU also. So it's pretty much by your safeties, Byard and Vaccaro, and your linebackers. So you don't have a D-line. You're missing your wide receivers. So it's going to be very hard for them to keep up with a Buffalo team that's playing very well right now. So I'm actually going to predict 27-17 Buffalo.
Okay, so it's around. So me and you got the same idea, but again, I don't encourage people to touch this game.
No, not
again
at all.
because again, there's a lot of moving pieces. This is a game that Tennessee could very well win. To be honest with you, because I'm a big fan of Vrabel, and I think he could come up with good schemes and good things for this team. Though, but again, it's the unknown right now. So I don't.
I'll even say this that I said the score is going to be 27-17, but if you see the spread is 10.5 or even 9.5, it may be worth it to just bet Tennessee money line because you'll get a huge amount on plus if you bet Tennessee money line. So
absolutely, throw it in a parlay or even do it in a teaser. Move the line to 17. Tennessee's not getting blown out. That's it doesn't matter if they lose, but they're
not the team that with that type of coaching and the type of players that are on that team. I can't see them really getting blown out just because of how they play, and they'll have too much pride, and they know the whole league. You see all the fans on social media and everything. Everybody's against them, and they kind of like that, so they'll come together and figure out something. So I don't think they'll get blown out.
Yeah, exactly. They could use that as fuel, but again, we don't even know. Hopefully, no more positive tests. I mean, God.
Yeah, because if there's any more positive tests, they're going to cancel the game. Period. The reason that, like I just laid out the schedule for you, that they have to have negative tests on Friday, negative tests on Saturday. They can practice on Sunday, fly on Monday, and then play on Tuesday. So they literally do not have a day where they can have a negative test, where they can have a positive test in the next 3 days, or they're going to cancel the game.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what happens.
Moving on to the other game where we had Cam Newton from New England test positive, and right after that we had one of the top defensive players in the league, Stephon Gilmore, hugging Patrick Mahomes on Monday night in a game that I said they shouldn't have played, but they played anyway, and he popped up positive the next day. So everything's been good so far with the Chiefs, no positive test. However, I thought it was irresponsible for the NFL to play that game 2 days after a positive test, but that game is delayed right now to make sure they don't get any positive tests again. New England and Denver, how do you see it going, Trey?
Look, it's plain and simple. If Cam Newton plays, I'm going to score this game 28-10. Again, if Cam Newton does play, if he doesn't play...
I don't think he's going to play, by the way.
Yeah, and if he doesn't play, then I'll give it a score of 21-10, 17-10. I think New England was by more than a touchdown. I was impressed the way Belichick was able to coach that game against Kansas City. It's unfortunate that Hoyer's bum ass, couldn't finish, and otherwise, if they had better quarterback play, I think New England would have won the game if you ask me. And don't let that score deceive you because Kansas City scored garbage time touchdown, so it was a lot closer than what people expected. I was just not impressed with the quarterback play, but I think that they'll do enough to take care of Denver.
So this is one of those games where I first of all don't think Cam Newton is going to play, and I also think the NFL is going to push for him not to play because the Patriots have a bye week after this week. So it really would be horrific if he rushes back, plays during the bye week, and then somebody else gets it, and then they're canceled for the next 2 weeks or whatever. It'll be best if they keep him out this week, they have their bye week next week, so everybody will be clear by the time it comes back after that. So I definitely don't think Cam will be playing. Now, the part that actually I am more concerned about is if Drew Lock is playing. Drew Lock was hurt right before a couple weeks ago. He practiced for the first time this week, but he is limited. If Drew Lock plays this game, I think Denver will win the game outright. I think Denver will win the game by 3. I'm going to say they win the game probably 24-21. If Drew Lock is not playing, then I'm going to switch towards New England and say they win the game probably 27-23. So I think Drew Lock is the one who will determine on who wins this game because Rippon was horrible last week against the Jets. They really shouldn't have won the game, but they just happened to play against the Jets. So that's one of those games where you can't really even count it, but he played horribly against a bad team. So if he's playing again, he's going to get picked off by New England a couple times, and New England will win the game. But if Drew Lock is playing, I think he'll be able to be enough where he can use the Jerry Judys and the KJ Hamlers, and even though Noah Fant isn't playing, they have the kid out of Colorado who's also got a tight end. I think they'll have enough to beat him. So it's going to be all on Drew Lock, in my opinion. I don't think Cam's going to play. But I agree. We got to get to the games tonight. As about 45 minutes away, we got a game starting Tampa Bay -3.5 versus Chicago. And this is actually, to start right off, is going to be my number one pick of the week. This was a 5.5 This was a 5.5 point spread just a couple days ago, and it's been going down because Leonard Fournette is not playing, Chris Godwin is not playing. I don't care. Chicago's not a good team, and we saw what happened last week. They didn't play well against Indianapolis. They should have won that game, but they're just not a good team, and they're not using David Montgomery well. They were the worst 3-0 team in the league. And now they're going to go against Tom Brady, who's actually playing well, threw for 5 touchdowns last week, came back from 24-7 down to a hot player in Herbert. So I think Tampa Bay is going to roll tonight. I think they're going to win the game by 10+, so that makes it my number one pick of the week. What do you think, Dre?
This is actually my second best pick of the week, guys. So listen, you guys got 29 minutes before your kickoff. Go put some deposit into that FanDuel or DraftKings. Guys, sponsor us, by the way. Go to them. Go to MGM. Go wherever you need to go. Go put the bankroll on this game. I love this game. This could have easily been my best pick. I agree with Pete. He hit it on the head. Look, I'm a fan of Nick Foles. And it's funny how we're going to get a rematch of that Super Bowl with two quarterbacks on 2 different teams, which is kind of funny.
That's crazy.
And let's see. I mean, so far Nick Foles has won 0 against Brady. But listen, this isn't Nick Foles in the playoffs. Nope. This is not Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. If it was, I would have been going another way. But it's not. Listen, give me Brady. He's getting comfortable now with the offense. I believe Mike Evans does play tonight. Leonard Fournette looks like he's playing tonight. So again, he's going to have his main pieces, and I think that they win a comfortable game, right around the lines of 9 to 10 points, like Pete said. So that's my second pick.
Well, I have to give a last-minute check on Fournette. I don't think Fournette is going to play, but he was questionable. But even if whether he plays or not, I think Ronald Jones could fill in for him fine too, because Ronald Jones has been playing pretty solid this year. I know that Fournette is active, but I just don't know. I just don't know how much he's going to play. So listen, he was listed as pretty much doubtful just like a day ago. So, like I said, he's going to be active. Don't know how much he's going to play. So I wouldn't even put too much on Fournette. But like I said, Ronald Jones is a good, capable back. I think he can have a good game. I think Fournette will be there just in case Jones either gets hurt or can't carry the load. So, but we both agree. We both got Tampa Bay winning that game by a good amount. And that's his second pick of the week. That's my top of the week.
Yes, sir.
Next pick, Arizona -7 versus the New York Jets. What do you think?
Oh, Arizona. That's my best pick of the week. That's easy. That's easy money, guys. Listen, I don't got to get into it. We're talking about the Jets. I know Arizona. I'm not gonna lie. They've kind of had like a little setback again.
Yeah, how come you weren't asking me about Kyler Murray this week?
and you know what? God damn it, I'm gonna ask you about him after they play the Jets because everybody looks good against the Jets. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right, Pete. He did have a down week though. But again, I want to see more from him. 3 weeks isn't enough to gauge him. But with that being said, they're playing the Jets. The Jets are depleted. They got Joe Flacco playing. Sam's out. Le'Veon Bell looks like he's still missing this upcoming week. He's probably like the next 2-3 weeks for him to return. Yeah, give me Arizona all day to win double digits.
Yeah,
that's my best pick of the week.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going with Arizona to win big. I think that Jets are just in a horrible place right now. Joe Flacco's going to be starting for them. Their team isn't good. Like you said, Le'Veon Bell, he was originally scheduled to come back this week. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be till next week. They do have Jamison Crowder, but they still don't have their other wide receivers. So it's just a really bad team right now, and I think that Arizona will be able to take advantage of that. So I also got Arizona winning that game by double digits. Next game, Los Angeles Rams, 7.5 versus the Washington No-Names. Now, let me also let you guys know the Rams were a 9-point favorite 2 days ago, so that line has come down a little bit. And I agree it should come down a little bit because 9 is a lot to give to any team, especially when you gave them 12.5 last week and they blew it to the Giants. So 9 was a little bit too much. 7.5 is a little bit closer. What do you think, Dre?
I think Sean McDermott gets on their ass. I think that last week was a poor performance despite the W. I think the Rams get it together, and I think they win this one pretty comfortably. So I'm going to go ahead and say they cover that 7.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. The reason why is because you look at how bad the Giants are. I kind of put Washington in the same territory. You played horrible, and you still won that Giant game by about 10 points. So you made the spread 7.5. That's enough that you should be able to cover. So I think you'll win this game by between 7 and 10 points. So even with that half a point where they possibly may win by 7, I think it's worth it to take them anyway. So I think you got to go with the Rams there and assume they're going to win by about 10 points, just like they did.
Yeah, Washington is beat up on defense as well. The defensive line's banged up. They're going to miss a couple players. So, yeah, I mean, listen, with Jerry Goff in the pocket all day, that play action, I think that's going to slice them up.
All right. Moving on, the Battle of Pennsylvania, as the Pittsburgh Steelers are -7 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that this is a very interesting game. I have lost all confidence in Philadelphia, but Pittsburgh hasn't been really blowing teams out. I remember them playing against Denver, and they had like a 7-point spread, and they only won by 5 or 4, something like that. So they haven't been blowing teams out. Even the game against Houston, they didn't really blow them out. Houston actually had the lead for a lot of that game. So it's a very tough game to pick in terms of Philly's playing horrible, but Pittsburgh hasn't been really blowing teams out. I'm going to have to go with Philadelphia. Even though I don't want to, I'm going to go with Philadelphia to say they lose this game probably by 4 to 6 points and not the 7. So I'm going to say Philadelphia. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, that's fair enough, honestly, and you're absolutely right. They really haven't been blowing teams out. So to be honest with you, for them to cover that spread, again, I wouldn't touch it because honestly, I think they kind of can. So I'm going to say Philadelphia does cover as well. Pittsburgh's going to win this game, but only because, Pittsburgh's a healthy team. They got the better defense. They got the best pass rushers.
They got a bye week.
And plus, yeah. And thanks to the Titans, we got a bye week. So now Ben's rested, even though he's fucking bitching and shit. But, yeah, again, their O-line's banged up. But the one compliment that I will give them is that they do have a pretty good D-line. And they do lead the league in sacks right now as a whole. So, you got to give them credit where credit is due, though. But I just think that our D-line is better. I think that, with our offense is better. And honestly, they got lucky last week, too. I'll give them credit for taking that W, though. But that Hail Mary they threw at the end, if Kittle would have, had a couple more inches to reach for that ball, they would have lost that game, though. Good teams find a way to win, and I'll give them credit, though. But they're not going to go into Pittsburgh and be a better Pittsburgh team, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So, moving on to the next game, Kansas City Chiefs -11.5 versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I've been really on Kansas City a lot. However, last week I was ready to pick New England. I did pick New England money line because I assumed Cam was playing. So, but if Cam was playing, I think New England would have won that game. So, I just think that Kansas City is right now in the middle of the lull period where they're going to play well. They're going to have their spurts. But they're not playing a complete game. They feel like there's a video game that they can turn on and off when they feel like it, and it may be. But when you do that, you don't cover big spreads. I think also Gruden and the Raiders will get back to the running game, run the ball a lot more. I think Josh Jacobs will have a good game. I'm going to go with the Raiders to cover that 11.5-point spread. What do you think, Trey?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. This game feels like a trap. To me, when I first looked at the spread, I said, wow, this is such a high spread for a division game. And typically when Las Vegas plays, Wow, guys, don't kill me, Raiders.
Fucked it up.
Listen. Whenever they play, it's usually tight games. However, the O line's banged up for Las Vegas. If they don't get the run game going, then I see that being a problem. I think I'm going to go Kansas City minus 11.5. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't touch it. This is a game that, again, division games are always close though, but I just have this feeling that Las Vegas is trying to trap me. And God damn it, you're not going to trap me. I'm going to go I'm going to go Kansas City minus 11.
All right. Let's go with the team that can't hold on to win a game, the Atlanta Falcons minus 1.5 versus the Carolina Panthers, who have played well for the past couple of weeks. They've gotten 2 in a row, and they really have played well. So Atlanta is surprisingly still the favorite. People still betting on them. What do you think, Dre?
Yeah, I actually like them to win. Again, that's not that big of a spread. They've been in close games. They've been playing the better teams too.
Damn, you still gonna go with Matt Ryan?
Yeah. Listen, and I know you got to
with that guy,
Matt Ryan. But listen, in that stadium, man, they always put up points. I'm a fan of Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, not against Green Bay though.
Yeah, and I love what they're doing in Carolina. I really do, but I just think that again, it's going to be high scoring. If you want to take the over, I encourage you to take that though. But I'm going to go Atlanta minus 2.5. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored on this, but I just think that Atlanta has a better offense and they got the more firepower to get it done.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go with Carolina to win this game. The reasons why is one, Matt Ryan is not playing well right now. He threw for no touchdowns last week. They couldn't put up points. Julio Jones went out at the half, and he's still questionable for this week.
Where the hell is Calvin Ridley?
Calvin Ridley was disappeared. They did nothing on his fight. They threw it on 5 times. He caught nothing, so he was garbage. Nobody was good on that team. The only people who did anything was Gurley scored from like 2-yard line. That's it. Other than that, the rest of the team was garbage. While, like I said, Carolina is playing well right now. They're hot. They're coming off 2 straight wins. They have a little confidence. I'm going to go with Atlanta to win. Go with Carolina to win this one money line. So I like Carolina. Moving on to the next game. Houston minus 5.5 versus Jacksonville. I told you guys that after week 1, week 1 bet Jacksonville money line. They were a huge underdog. They won that game because week 1 is always a weird week. Jacksonville is one of the worst teams in the league, but week 1 weird things happen. And since week 1, Jacksonville has not won a game, and they will not win this game. I think they're going to lose this game by 7. So I'll give away the 5.5 points and take Houston. What do you think, Dre?
I like Houston in this one. To me, there's not a lot to be discussed about this game. I think it's pretty straightforward. Jacksonville's not that good of a team. They could put up a fight though, but with Bill O'Brien out, ironically, even though they it's probably a mess right now over there, but I think they're gonna, if anything, they're probably gonna be more united now that Bill O'Brien's gone, and they know that now they need each other. And I think Deshaun Watson's gonna make it happen. Defense is gonna make it happen. They're not gonna play lights out, but I think they're gonna do enough just to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm gonna go ahead and say they cover.
All right. So moving on to the next game, interdivision rivalry, Baltimore Ravens against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is actually going to be my second pick of the week. I think Cincinnati, who has played tough pretty much every game this season, they got a tie against Philadelphia. They've been close games where they barely lost. They lost by less than a touchdown to Cleveland. I think Cincinnati is playing really tough right now, and Joe Burrow is being a true leader right now. He's not letting them quit in games. He's still firing at the end. He's arguably outplayed both Mayfield and Carson Wentz already this year. He finally got his first win last week. I think he's going to continue to try to build the momentum. And I don't think they'll win this game, but I think they will cover the 12-point spread. So this is going to be my second pick of the week. With that giant spread, I got Cincinnati covering 12. What do you think, Dre?
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. Giant spread, AFC North football. AFC North football is always hard-hitting, close games. And yes, I know that this Cincinnati team is not the best, but they're competitive. I'll give them credit with that. Look, if they're losing games or tying it up, they're competitive. And with competitive teams like that, you got to be careful, especially with the high spread. I'm seeing reports that Lamar Jackson, even though I do expect him to play, he's been missing practice due to a minor knee injury. I think they're just taking precaution, but that's something to keep a lookout for. However, this is a game that I think Baltimore has upset alert. Be careful. I think Baltimore could lose this game. If you put gun to my head, they win. but don't be surprised if Cincinnati pulls it off. I really like this pick, and I agree with Pete. Put money on Cincinnati to cover this high spread, plus 11.
All right. Plus 12, so you even get an extra point there.
Oh, plus 12, there you go.
So next game, San Francisco 49ers, -9 against the Miami Dolphins. Now, if all things were even, I would say the Dolphins can cover this pick because the Dolphins can score points. Fitzpatrick, we know he can have his monster games out of nowhere, but this one is just a field pick. It seems like Fitzpatrick is coming to an end. I think he's going to be on the bench within the next 2 weeks, so it feels like it's coming to an end. I think San Francisco puts a big dent in that, and if they win this game by 2 touchdowns, we could see a Tua starting as soon as next week. So I think in the feel of this, I think San Francisco is going to win this game big with Jimmy G most likely coming back to start on the center.
Is he coming back?
He practiced a lot this week, so it looks like he may be coming back to start this game. And even if he doesn't, I still think San Francisco is going to win big because C.J. Beathard played well last week and almost came from behind to beat the Philadelphia. But I think San Francisco is going to win this by more than 10 points. So I'm going to go with San Fran to cover that 9-point spread. What do you think, Dre?
You know what? Miami has done enough for me to show me, for me to respect them to say they're going to cover the spread. If Jimmy G does play, I'm going to say San Francisco covers the spread. If he doesn't play, I do like CJ Beathard, but I think Miami has done enough to show me that they could cover this. It is a pretty high spread, and Miami can put up points. Again, comparing to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are decimated on all sides of the ball, was barely able to put up points, and Niners were barely able to put up points. Mm-hmm. If Fitzpatrick, that's the thing though, we don't know what kind of Fitzpatrick shows up. If we get Fitzpatrick that's going to light it up, mm-hmm. I have a hard time seeing San Francisco, keeping them at bay. So I think I think they win by like 7 or 8 though, but I like Miami with the points.
All right, so take this as if Jimmy G is going to start because I got screwed with Cam Newton one last week. So first of all, do you think do you think he's going to start? I think he is.
I'm sorry.
He started.
Yeah, if Jimmy G starts, yeah. So okay, I'm going to officially say San Francisco -9. Yeah. Jimmy G starting. If he doesn't start, don't touch it.
Yeah, because I know that he's practiced all week. He's practiced all week.
So I'm officially saying San Fran, yeah.
And I think they want him back on the field just because they aren't playing as well as they should be. And when he plays on the field, they almost always win. So I think he's going to come back this week. Reporters are saying he's moving well, good in practice. So I think he's going to come back this week. But moving on to the next game, another interdivision.
There you go. So officially, San Fran -9.
Yeah. So another interdivision rivalry. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, 2 teams that suck this year. Even though I won't say the Cowboys' offense sucks because the offense has been great. They've been putting up like 35 points per game, but the defense has been atrocious. The Giants' offense and defense has been atrocious, and right now Dallas is -9. What do you think, Dre?
I think Dallas covers the spread, even though they've been extremely underwhelming. Mm-hmm. On defense, the offense has been playing really good football. I think they'll do enough to put a lot of points on a bad Giants team, and I don't think Daniel Jones can keep up, so I'm going to say they cover that.
You know what's one of the weird things about this? And yes, they have been horrible. I completely agree with that. But you look at who they've played, and they played Russell Wilson, who was on fire. They went against... listen, I know Baker isn't that great, but he still has Odell, he still has Jarvis Landry, they still have a good running game, and they ran through down their throats that week. And then they've been playing against teams that can throw the ball, can score points. They played against Atlanta, who you said could score points also. So they're going against teams that can score. The Giants haven't proven they can score yet. So I think that they will have a good bounce back week. I think they'll be able to hold the Giants under 20 points. And I think they're going to score over 30 like they've been doing. So I definitely agree that Dallas will cover the 9-point spread. I think they'll win the game by probably 10 to 13 points, in my opinion.
I think they win by more, probably like 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, well, they could. I just think their defense is just so bad that they'll probably put the offense in a bad position.
That's a good point. Actually, that's a very good point.
Next game, Indianapolis and the Cleveland Browns. The Indianapolis Colts are a 1.5 favorite. This is going to be my upset of the week. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. They looked good last week. They can throw the ball even without. And they are one of the lucky teams that even though they lost Nick Chubb for 6 weeks, Kareem Hunt is a top 10 type back, and they have him to put right into that place, so they're not losing anything there. Odell looks like he started to get a little bit back last week as he went a little nuts on Dallas. And I just think that Indy's kind of benefited from not really playing a tough schedule as of yet. So now they're going to play against a team that can actually put up some points. I think Cleveland's going to put up some points and win that game. What do you think, Dre?
Listen, Pete. Well, first and foremost, yes, this is my underdog pick as well. So I am going to pick Cleveland Brown to win this game. But, and I've told you this before, I do give credit where credit is due. I was never big on the bandwagon of the Browns winning the Super Bowl, nor winning the division, because I said, we got to see how this team plays out first. They, extremely underwhelming at first, and again, I'm not completely sold on them yet.
Yeah.
But I do respect them enough to say that they are playing a lot better. Offense is starting to click. Unfortunate knock with Nick Chubb, but like you said, they got a top 10 back in Kareem Hunt, so they're not missing anything there. I think this is more of a combination of how the offense of Cleveland Brown is playing and the mistakes that Phillip Rivers can make. Again, the defense is playing great for the coach. And I think they're keeping them in games. But, again, I don't trust Phillip Rivers, and I've been impressed with what the Browns have been doing offensively for me to say that they're going to win this game. They're going to put up a lot of points, especially at home.
All right, so we both have Cleveland as our underdog pick of the week. We both have Tampa Bay within our first two picks of the week. Those are two games you got to jump on real fast then.
Yeah, ASAP, guys.
All right, moving on to the Sunday night game, the Seattle. I almost called it the Supersonics. I remember the old school NBA Supersonics. The Seattle Seahawks. -7 versus the Minnesota.
Supersonic.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Durant, Gary Payton, you're going way back with that. Sean Kemp.
Wow.
But Seattle is -7. The Seahawks versus the Vikings. What do you think, Dre?
I like Minnesota to cover the spread, to be honest. And again, this is another game that I have on upset alert, believe it or not. Listen, Seattle's defense is not that good. I know Minnesota hasn't been playing good. They haven't been playing lights out. They've actually looked bad. Kirk Cousins hasn't been impressive at all. But I think if they get the run game going on Seattle and keep Russell Wilson off the field, which I think they could very well do, then I don't see why they can't cover the spread, let alone win this game. I'm not going to sleep on Russell, obviously. I'm not going to encourage you guys to put the money on, to put the house on Minnesota money line. But I do think a safe bet would be +7. Yeah. But don't be surprised if they could squeak it out towards the end and get garbage time touchdown and win the game.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think I was close to picking Minnesota, but I always think about games that they've played in the past already this year. I remember the New England game where they only won by 5, and I thought they were going to win that by a touchdown or more. They've played well, but they've been in games where I thought they were going to blow teams out, and they didn't. So I'm going to kind of keep in that same momentum. Plus, unless he's going to continue throwing 4 touchdowns a game, I just don't see how they're going to continue to score 35 points every single week. At some point, you either got to have an off game or a down game. And you also got to wait for Minnesota's defense to wake up, because Minnesota, before the year started, we thought they were a top 5 defense, and they just haven't played well. But they still have the pieces to play well. So, yes, they've lost Anthony Barr, but they still have enough pieces on that team that they should be at least a top 10 defense. So, if they can just wake up their safeties with Anthony Harris and Harrison Smith, if they can step up one time, at least slow them down to keep them to maybe 24 points, I think this could be even 27 points. This could be a 27-23 type game. Even if the Minnesota loses, they'll cover the spread. So I think I'm going to give Minnesota one more benefit of doubt and go with Minnesota to cover that 7-point spread.
Yep, I agree.
Moving to the last game, Monday night. The great Justin Herbert, now officially named the starter of the Chargers team. And sorry to Tyrod Taylor. I mean, listen, he's just not he's the guy that you get as a placeholder before your draft pick starts. And that's what's happened. It happened in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, and now it's happening again with the number 6 overall pick, Justin Herbert. He's the guy you just put because you're not sure that the rookie is ready yet. But Herbert has shown he is ready. In his first 3 starts, he's thrown for 300, thrown for 300, thrown for 290. And he had Tom Brady At the last second, Brady was able to snap into it in the second half. He had them up 24-7. He was rolling with that team. And Eckler's hurt and everybody's hurt. And he's trying to win that game. And they didn't have enough to pull it through. But he showed a lot last week. And I think that's why Anthony Lynn had no choice but to make him the full-time starter for the rest of the year. And this game, in my opinion, comes down to the same thing I was thinking about last week, which is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is such a big factor for the New Orleans Saints that when he plays, I almost rank them another 4 to 7 points higher just because of how good he is. He makes that much of an impact because he frees up other people. You can't stack the line against Kamara if you have to guard Michael Thomas one-on-one. You can't shut down. Then you have Emmanuel Sanders one-on-one on the outside. You got Jared Cook one-on-one on the inside. People are much more open when Michael Thomas is there. When he's not there, you can slow this team down. So this is one of those games where I'm going to say that he's going to play. So I'm going to say New Orleans will cover the 7.5 because I'm going to say Michael Thomas will play. I thought he was going to play last week, but they took him out the last second. He did practice a couple times. It does look like he's going to play this week. So I'm going to say that they can cover that 7.5 point spread. I think they win that game by 10 points. What do you think, Dre?
Yeah, I agree. You pretty much explained it the way I was going to say. Mike Thomas comes back, forget about it, and I think he will come back. And for that, I like New Orleans to win by more than 10 as well. I'm giving it like a 28-16 type of score.
28-16? All right. So
yeah, 28 or not 30-16. Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's true. Now, this is the one thing, though. Now, the Saints are, I think the Saints that have next week off. I'm pretty sure that they have the following week off. If they want to fully get Michael Thomas healthy, they would rest him this week. They have a bye week next week, and then he would be completely 100% healthy for the week after that. That's the only thing you have to worry about because, like I said, he practiced last week, limited. He practiced this week, limited fashion. So he's on track to play, and everybody thinks he's going to play. But you do have to watch out for that. I'm going to assume he's going to play. That's why I'm picking New Orleans also. But you do have to watch out for that because if he doesn't play at the last second, one, you got to get him out of your fantasy lineups. But two, I would not bet on New Orleans if he's not playing because I think that the Chargers can put up points. We saw that last week. I think they can stay close with New Orleans. And New Orleans does not have a great offense when Michael Thomas isn't playing. And like I said, they have a bye week next week, so they may want to rest him through the bye week, and then he'll be completely 100% the week after that. So you just have to watch out for that. We're both picking New Orleans, but you have to watch out for last-minute injuries that people get taken out the last second. We saw the same thing with Devontae Adams, where people will get taken out the last second, so you got to watch out for that. Any closing thoughts, Trey?
No, again, those pretty much those teams that we pretty much told you to keep an eye on, like the ones that got rescheduled, and a lot of the questionables, just keep an eye out for those. But other than that, we got a game that's about to start in the next couple of minutes, so hopefully you guys can tune in so you guys can place your bets. Again, Peter Clark has it as his second best pick, or is he your best pick?
That's my best pick.
Pete.
Yeah, it was my best pick.
Yo, but this is my second best pick. So,
all right. So with
again, guys, if you guys will place your bets and go for it.
So with that, we will end the show. This has been great. Pete's Corner with Dre. We're gonna come to you every week. We're gonna keep giving you picks. We're gonna keep giving you winners. We're gonna help you run this town. And we are out for this week. We'll catch you next Wednesday for another good game. Pete's Corner and with Dre. Peace out, guys.
Take care, people. Peace.
All black, everything. Black cars, all black, everything. And our girls